I just got back from watching Bring Her Back, and off the bat, there's so much that I have to say about this movie. It's probably right now my favorite movie that I've seen in the theaters in 2025. It's a lot. It's definitely not like a go happy go lucky movie. You're going to go watch it and you're going to feel like you're in a pretty intense therapy session about loss, grief, death, and definitely trauma and the way people deal with it. And it's a very similar thing to Talk to Me, which I actually find super interesting that, YouTubers Michael and Danny Philippou are suddenly making these films these horror movies nonetheless, that just handle human emotion and the complexity of characters so well. It's really a breath of fresh air for the modern day industry of cinema. And about the movie itself, there's so much to be said. Off the bat, the introduction is probably one of the craziest cold openings I've seen recently. It's like this found footage, but the first shot of the movie, I won't spoil it, was just overwhelming right off the bat. And, it's one of those things that you really don't think you'll see, and then it's right there, and they don't really talk much about it. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I kind of knew that it was going to be a banger just because of the way the VHS and like the cult thing that we were watching, kind of ritual was handled. The direction for that was just so well that it felt creepy, it felt eerie, it felt wrong to even be watching. And when you pull something off like that as a director, you're a genius. You really know what you're doing. And again, these guys were YouTubers and they're absolutely killing it. They're probably one of the best filmmakers in the industry right now. My opinion, of course, but debate me about it. I'm willing to do it. There's so much to be said. The editing of the movie was crisp. It was clean. The audio cues were like that. They weren't. No sound was not used as an opportunity to make a cut or an edit. And that's just genius filmmaking. It's such a great way to keep the audience engaged. And even then, the engagement that you actually put towards the movie, which I won't even lie, some parts it gets hard to stay engaged because you're just like dealing with so much emotion, character complexity, and also like, yeah, gore. There was some scenes that were pretty fucked up and you're just like, Jesus Christ. So keeping engaged and watching the film and not keep taking your eyes away actually is rewarded. There's small little tiny Easter eggs that are probably in the film for maybe half a second, but if you see what the filmmakers intended for you to see because you're actually paying attention, it freaks you out. It creeps you out. It's really well done. There's not that much that I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone at all. I might do a little spoiler talk in a little bit so I'll warn anyone so you could just click away. But for now, the audio cues, the editing was so crisp. The character introductions, like, I don't know how with Talk to Me, they kind of wrote these characters that were, high schoolers, if that freshmen's in college, but I'm pretty sure they were high schoolers. Yeah, they were high schoolers. And now we're dealing with the same thing with one of the lead protagonists not even being 18 years old. And they write these characters in such a believable manner, so like authentic to how a modern day, teenager would behave, act, talk, their their routines and their hobbies and everything like that. And one of the kids it's basically a movie about these two kids that lose their dad and their step siblings, and now they're going into a foster mom's home. And the foster mom already has a kid there who's also adopted. And that's basically the brunt of the movie. Sure, there's the whole ritual and the bring her back aspect of it, which again, I don't want to spoil too much. Go watch it. But the story itself is simple and it is engaging. You do feel very sympathetic for the characters, for Andy and Piper off the bat. Piper is blind, yet she tries to be friendly, and other kids her age find her weird. And some people might relate to that, and even if you can't relate to that, you still feel bad about it. And it's not done in a way that like makes her seem weak or annoying. She's cool about it. She's like, okay, well, what was I expecting? At least I tried. And that's awesome, you know. And her older brother Andy, he's also cool about it, you know. Sure, he does things like he lies to her about some things about the relationship he had with his dad, with their dad. He lies to her about other like things, you know, since she's blind. He keeps information from her, but you always get the vibe that the reason he's keeping the information from her is just to protect her, because he truly does love his younger sister. And that's awesome. How could you not get with like protagonists that that's the bond and the relationship that you're dealing with? And you know, man, what a movie. Honestly, like I'm still like like dealing with it and thinking about it. The off the bat, the foster mom, you, the same way that you like the protagonist from the start, the foster mom, you're like, oh my god, she's so fake. She is so fake. She's trying to be extremely likable. She's trying to be like the best hipster mom out there, yet also does these things like, oh, you can tell me about your experiences with your abusive father. I'm a counselor. Oh, you have to look at your father who's passed away in his casket because it's the last time you'll see. Oh, you don't want to see him? Well, guess what? I'm going to force you to kiss him. There's things like that that just makes the character so unsettling and so like unique and original, but at the same time stuff that like you feel like you've seen before. And I'm okay with stuff with like when that happens, but it's done in a way that helps the story go forward. It's awesome. It's really good. There's like these moments of like humor, very very small. It's not like Talk to Me that there's like a lot of humor throughout the film. The humor, once it stops, like around like the beginning or maybe the middle section of the second act, it's over. There is no more humor. You are praying for a break at that point. And it's not because of like the gore or the horror. There was like very small, there were sequences that involved that, but nonetheless, the sequences weren't gratuitous. They weren't happening every 5 minutes. No, instead, the true horror of the film was what was happening to the characters, the absolute irritating gaslighting that the mom Laura was committing on the older brother Andy was just like, you wanted to punch her in the face. And you are like absolutely amazed that Andy didn't do that himself. And there's another thing where, okay, I'll save this for the spoiler talk, so give me a second. The trauma, the way that trauma and grief was addressed in Talk to Me, I just respected. I felt like it was authentic, real. Above all, it felt human, you know? And now, and Bring Her Back, the way that trauma, the way that grief, the way that sudden death is just handled in this film, it will leave you like thinking about things. It will leave you like kind of like appreciating the people in your life in a completely new way. And you don't expect that from a horror movie. You don't expect that from just like this like A24 horror movie, but nonetheless, you will walk away from it. Everyone that I was in a theater with like small amount of people, but you know, when everyone got up and left, I kind of was like researching a little bit and I could hear everyone going, man, what a weird movie. What a weird movie. And I get that. It is a weird movie. It is so much. It is like literally like so much, but at the same time, it's such a chilling and human meditation. Apparently, Bring Her Back and Talk to Me, Danny Philippou and whoever Bill Hinsman is, I still haven't been able to find out who that guy is or if he's a pseudonym, but apparently they wrote these movies at the same time. Talk to Me and Bring Her Back were written at the same time, and while you do get that vibe, you kind of also get the vibe that Bring Her Back was like where the real grief of whatever Danny Philippou was going through was being put into. And that's just like, you know, it's a lot. So I guess I will say I'm going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, please go watch it. It is so good. If there's any filmmakers that we should be giving our money to, it is definitely Michael and Danny Philippou. They are just knocking it off the park. I don't blame A24 for like wanting to make like an MCU contract with them and just like wanting them to churn out more and more and more horror films. Hell, I would even be interested to see what the brothers can come up with if it's not horror based, but at the same time, for sure, I think they're going down as my favorite horror filmmakers. Seriously. And that's a bold claim. I've seen a lot of fucked up movies, yet there's something about these films that is unique, original, human, and just amazing, you know? They're both experiences, Talk to Me and Bring Her Back, but they really do get under your skin. And apparently, while filming this movie, they're having fun with the cast. They're like having a good time. There's a crazy scene that I will talk about in the spoilers, but the way that they did it was by like having the actor bite onto chocolate. So it's a good time while they're filming it, but for the audience, it is not a good time at all. Okay, so, oh, one more thing, by the way. The characters are so good. Piper and Andy, again, I talked about her a little bit, but Piper is so funny. She's hilarious. She's just like a blind girl, but like the things that she says, you're just like, dude, this girl's fucking hilarious. At some point, they're like, the foster mom Laura's like, oh, how do you deal with like your grief? What do you like to do to like get over things? Her older brother goes, oh, I like to get hammered. And she's like, what do you like to do, Piper? And she's like, I like to kick Andy in the balls. Hilarious. That caught me so off guard. I was like, dude, that's a little funny joke, I guess. Okay, spoiler talk now. Holy shit. Oh, wait, click out. You haven't? All right, we'll talk about this. What a movie, man. Like, the sequences were so crazy. The cult was like, first of all, you don't even know if it's a cult or if it's like some company that just figured out how to resurrect people with an evil demon, and they're just pulling it out, and they're just sending these people VHS tapes and just letting them do their fucking rituals at home. Who knows? But they don't talk about it, and I find that so good. Why would they talk about that stuff when the focus of the movie is Piper and Andy? If they spoke about the cult, it would take away from Piper and Andy. The audience would be kind of more intrigued into the cult itself. So seeing so little of it as we did throughout the film, genius decision, honestly. As a really, I like hope to be one day, like it's something that I learned from, and I was like, yeah, that's actually how it should be done if that's the result that you're looking for. The horror sequences, like once again, like I feel like Danny and Michael Philippou, they have like this, they're like creating this new brand of a horror genre that's not so much about the suspense. I spoke about the audio cues, and the audio is a really, really big part of it. But what they do is they like write these scenes that is just unsettling to watch. Literally, just unsettling. Very like eeriness to it. And yeah, it's gory. There are gory scenes, but at the same time, they're like, before the movie even, like before the horror even starts, you know, Laura is doing weird shit to Andy. And that weird shit unsettles you. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you kind of squirm in your seat a little bit. And that's brilliant. You know how in Talk to Me, she made out with the guy's foot? And everyone was like, oh, I remember being in the theater. Everyone was like, oh, God, oh, my God. I felt the same way. And it's those moments that are proving to be like almost like the Bechdel test for horror and like letting you like get into the vibe of it. And I think that's so genius. You know, before showing you anything crazy, they really do get under your skin with like minimalistic stuff. It's so brilliant. It's so good. You know, Laura being a counselor throughout the movie just like proves to be like one of those things that like helps character development, but also what it actually really does as well is it helps open up the character's exposition in such a natural way that it doesn't feel like you're being beat over the head. And they do hold off on things. They don't tell you everything right away. They don't even tell you why the dad died. They don't. The dad just dies, and it's so sad. And the way that, you know, Andy starts speaking about his trauma, about being abused, and about the jealousy that he felt seeing his stepsister not receive any of that abuse at all, it felt so genuine. It felt so good. The acting was so good. It was so brilliant. And I'm getting really heavy into spoilers now, so please click out, go watch the movie, enjoy it. Come back to the video once you've seen it and we can talk about it together. Man, Andy's death I was so upset. I was so sad. Every single scene afterwards, I was praying that something would happen, that at least he would come back as like some sort of like force ghost, like Qui-Gon Jinn or something. But no, they really just like, that was it. And I just read an article that in the original screenplay, Andy survives. So this was something that they thought of during production and filming. And I don't know, you know, it was probably a good choice as like a filmmaker for them as like what they wanted the audience to feel, but I haven't seen a single movie, maybe besides Warfare, that was just so unapologetic towards the character's fate. And it was just so, this is what happened, go fuck yourself. That's that. And like, they even had like this little nice safe word, Piper and Andy, grapefruit. Literally, they would say grapefruit to each other whenever one thought they were lying, or whenever they were in an intense moment, they would say grapefruit. And, you know, seeing Piper just say grapefruit over and over again over Andy's body was just so sad. Was so sad. And this was Piper's first film. I forget her name. I think her last name is Wong, but it was her first movie and she killed it. She literally killed it. So good. So good. And, you know, the trauma, everything that the characters were dealing with would be brought back in such a respectful way. It wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't like, oh, okay, we get it, they're traumatized kids. No, it felt real. It felt like the characters were actual people and you were just getting an insight into their minds and psyche. That's so special, you know, when that happens with the film and the characters inside of the film. The foster mom was batshit crazy. Ollie, the character of Ollie, who you're in spoiler zone, so, you know, you're doing this to yourself, who was a missing kid himself. They kind of like, it was so ridiculous. Like, he literally had like a little pot belly at some point because like the demon was so hungry that he was eating a fucking wooden table, which was made out of chocolate. And then he starts eating his own arm. It was like, that is fucking insane. Absolutely mental stuff right there. So like, you're really getting into like a lot when you're going to watch this movie. It's not just like you're diving in for a horror movie, some gore, some scares. No, like, I can't stress this enough. This movie is psychological. This movie will make you think differently about things that maybe you've never thought about them before. I left the theater like thinking about my mom and my dad, thinking about my girlfriend and shit. I was just like, oh my God, like, life is crazy. Seriously. So, you know, it's a special film. It really, really is. It's probably my favorite film of the year so far. And I think I said the same thing to myself when I saw Talk to Me. I think I said it was my favorite horror movie of the year, but now Bring Her Back is probably my favorite film of the year so far. So, you know, go watch it. There's like so much to say about this film, and this video is already long as shit. Sorry about that. Hope you're still here, and if you are, thanks, like, subscribe. Thank you for being here, but go watch it. Hug your parents, hug your loved ones. Life is special, life is crazy. Michael and Danny Philippou, you guys are so brilliant. I cannot wait to see what you guys have for the future. Honestly, I cannot wait. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are brilliant. You guys are like probably my favorite filmmakers right now in the industry. So thank you. Seriously. All right, that's it for this archival review. Have a good time. Bye-bye.